In 1998, two Stanford PhD students launched a search engine from a rented garage in California. Within 20 years, that experiment would evolve into one of the most powerful surveillance infrastructures ever created. Today, Google processes over 8 billion searches per day. It controls Android, YouTube, Gmail, Chrome, Maps, cloud infrastructure, digital advertising, and vast portions of the global internet's backbone. But Google was never just a search engine. It was a data company from the beginning. And data in the digital age is power. Behind its playful logo and "Don't Be Evil" motto lies a story of aggressive acquisitions, controversial data collection practices, internal employee revolts, government investigations, billion-dollar fines, and a business model built on tracking human behavior at planetary scale. Larry Page and Sergey Brin promised to organize the world's information. What they built instead was a system that observes the world in return. And over the years, secrets about how that system truly works have slowly surfaced, often not by choice, but through leaks, lawsuits, and public pressure. When Larry Page and Sergey Brin founded Google in 1998, their PageRank algorithm revolutionized search. Unlike competitors, Google ranked websites based on relevance and link authority, not just keywords. It was faster, cleaner, smarter. By 2000, Google had become the fastest growing search engine in the world. But the real turning point came with advertising. In 2001, Eric Schmidt joined as CEO, bringing corporate discipline to the founder's technical brilliance. Soon after, Google launched AdWords and AdSense, systems that allowed advertisers to bid for targeted ads based on user searches and browsing behavior. This was not traditional advertising. It was precision targeting. Every search query revealed intent. Every click revealed interest. Over time, Google began collecting more than search data. Gmail scanned email content to refine ad targeting. Chrome tracked browsing behavior. Android tracked location and device activity. Google Maps recorded movement patterns. The company wasn't simply organizing information. It was mapping human behavior. Quietly, methodically, Google constructed the most detailed behavioral database in history, all justified under the banner of improving user experience. For years, Google's unofficial motto was "Don't be evil." It symbolized a company that saw itself as morally superior to traditional corporations. But as Google expanded, that motto became harder to defend. In 2006, Google entered China with a censored version of its search engine, complying with government restrictions. Critics accused the company of betraying its principles for market access. Executives defended the move as pragmatic engagement. Years later, in 2018, internal documents revealed plans for Project Dragonfly, a proposed censored search engine tailored for China. Employee backlash was immediate. Thousands signed petitions. Protests erupted within Google's own workforce. The project was eventually shelved, but the controversy exposed a deeper tension inside the company: profit versus principle. Around the same time, Google quietly removed "Don't be evil" from its corporate code of conduct. Officially, the phrase was relocated. Symbolically, many saw it as retirement. The company that once promised moral clarity was now navigating complex geopolitical trade-offs, and its ethical reputation began to fracture. By the mid-2010s, Google's data collection practices were under global scrutiny. In 2013, Edward Snowden's revelations exposed widespread government surveillance programs involving major tech companies, including data requests to Google. While Google denied giving direct access to its servers, public trust shifted dramatically. Then came the Android location tracking controversy. Investigations revealed that even when users disabled location history, certain Google services continued storing location data. The company clarified settings, but the damage was done. Lawsuits followed in multiple countries. In 2022, Google agreed to a $391 million settlement with US states over misleading location tracking practices. Europe was even harsher. Under GDPR, regulators imposed multi-billion euro fines for privacy violations. Critics argued that Google's business model required aggressive data harvesting to sustain its advertising dominance. Google countered that personalization benefits users and supports free services. The debate remains unresolved, but one truth is clear: Google knows more about global human behavior than any corporation in history. A knowledge at that scale raises questions about power. Google's dominance didn't happen organically alone. It was reinforced through aggressive acquisitions. In 2006, Google bought YouTube. In 2007, it acquired DoubleClick, strengthening its advertising grip. In 2012, it purchased Motorola Mobility. In 2014, it acquired Nest. In 2019, it spent $2.1 billion on Fitbit. Each acquisition expanded its data reach. Regulators later questioned whether Google systematically bought potential rivals before they could become threats. Internal emails surfaced in antitrust investigations suggesting executives were aware of emerging competition and moved quickly to neutralize it. In 2020, the U.S. Department of Justice filed a major antitrust lawsuit against Google, accusing it of illegally maintaining monopoly power in search and advertising. The case marked one of the most significant legal challenges faced by a tech company since Microsoft in the late 1990s. Meanwhile, the European Union fined Google over $8 billion across multiple cases related to Android bundling and search dominance. Google denies wrongdoing, arguing its services succeed because they are superior. But regulators see a pattern of strategic entrenchment: control the platform, control the market. Google once prided itself on employee openness and internal debate, but as controversies mounted, internal dissent grew louder. In 2018, employees staged a global walkout after reports surfaced that Google had paid $90 million in exit packages to executives accused of sexual misconduct. The protest was one of the largest employee uprisings in Silicon Valley history. Workers demanded transparency and accountability. Around the same time, thousands of employees signed petitions opposing Google's involvement in Project Maven, a U.S. Department of Defense initiative using AI for drone analysis. Critics inside the company argued that Google was drifting into military applications that contradicted its values. Management eventually withdrew from the project, but tensions lingered. Several high-profile AI researchers, including Timnit Gebru in 2020, departed under controversial circumstances after raising concerns about bias and ethics in AI systems. The company that once encouraged radical openness began tightening internal communications. Leaks became frequent. Public perception shifted. Google was no longer just an innovative workplace, it was a corporation wrestling with its own conscience. At its core, Google remains an advertising company. Over 75% of its revenue still comes from ads. Search ads, YouTube ads, display ads, all powered by sophisticated behavioral targeting systems. But the dominance of Google's ad ecosystem has raised serious concerns about market fairness. Publishers depend on Google's ad exchanges. Advertisers depend on its targeting tools. Competitors argue the system is vertically integrated in a way that advantages Google at every level. In 2023, the U.S. Department of Justice filed another lawsuit focused specifically on Google's advertising technology, alleging it unlawfully monopolized digital ad markets. Internal communications revealed in court documents suggested Google executives discussed controlling both buy-side and sell-side ad infrastructure. Google denies anti-competitive conduct and argues the digital advertising market remains highly competitive. But if courts rule against it, the company could face structural changes, even potential breakups. The stakes are enormous, because if advertising is the engine, data is the fuel, and the engine powers everything else Google builds. Google changed the internet. It made information accessible instantly. It democratized publishing through YouTube. It built tools used by billions daily. But it also centralized control over digital infrastructure, accumulated unprecedented behavioral data, and fought regulators across continents. Founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin stepped back from daily operations in 2019, handing control to Sundar Pichai. Yet the questions remain. How much influence should one company have over information flow? How much data collection is too much? And can an advertising-driven model ever fully align with user privacy? Google's power lies not in what it sells, but in what it sees. And as governments tighten regulations and artificial intelligence expands its reach, the next chapter may be even more consequential than the last. Google promised to organize the world's information. It succeeded, but in doing so, it became one of the most powerful institutions of the digital age. And power always attracts scrutiny.